Oh, right. We're live. Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to RiftRadio 8999 with Blinko and Fernando. How are you doing, my friend? Oh. Is there any sound? Oh, yeah, you were muted. I was thinking like, did I mute
can't hit the mute button in time, but I think maybe I'm just thrown off. We were here just last week, and I guess we're back, man.
Yeah. Do you even have fingers?
Oh, I've got fingers.
There's
no hair on my fingers, but
How many fingers do you have? I got a 5 as human. I got 5.
I think I got like 4 fingers, man.
That's nice.
Well, I guess 3 fingers, 1 thumb. You guys call them thumbs. I mean, weird, but
that's all right, man. How you been?
I've been good. I've been vibing. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the cosmos lately. Holy smokes, man!
Yeah, man. I caught you playing the dragon game. What was it, the other week?
Yeah, that was Project Dragon. A lot of people have been really looking forward to seeing what's going on in the other side, and we had 2 trips, and then this was the first event in a series of another 12 events over the course of the year, one popping off each month, and it's orange versus aqua. Ollie made me go orange, and so I did my thing there, but we really got defeated, man. We won like 1 match.
You know what they say? Once you go orange, you can't. Oh no! What does it? What's rhyming on that?
Oh yeah. I think orange, it kind of sets the tone. It breaks the mold. I mean, it really pops up.
Yeah. I'm more of a blue guy, but you know that song. I'm blue. Never mind. Yeah, but I think one of the reasons we're both kind of hyped up is also like the sneak is finally out, man. I mean,
Finally.
I mean the fact that we had to bite our tongues, lips, ears, all the senses in terms of any forms of even saying hi to anybody, even like at events.
Mm-hmm.
At the events, it's so hard because you're excited but you're anxious at the same time. It's like almost creating like this what's it called, like a birthday present, but you don't know if the person that's gonna receive it, you can't tell them,
right.
But at the same time you don't know if they're gonna like it. But in this case it's not a birthday present that just one person has helped craft, right? But a whole freaking team behind this for months. I would say it's almost 4 years even, right?
right.
Well, also like in reality, if you depends where you start that the point of where we start this journey. I mean,
yeah, man.
I'll be honest. Like a lot of times, if you go all the way back to the ITM, I mean, this whole project was initially just for merch, right? And then it has evolved so much further than that. Than just the merch, and then we went into the whole wearables, AVGs, and then we started to having, all right, we want to have these avatars, and then that sparked a whole new different, because it's a whole different approach, right? Even like
right.
From strategy wise, it's a whole different cupcake, as they say.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think, and also on top of that is. The response has been overwhelming positive. I haven't seen anyone being negative about it, which is I think a very good thing. But at the same time, doesn't mean the team will be resting now. They probably will be working even harder than before to deliver some great stuff. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And then today we also have a lot of interesting folks joining us. It's like I think we got almost a full house with regards to the task force, right?
Yeah.
Well, who we got here today?
Well, I mean, the master chef Johan is in the audience too. I mean, that's pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we have the full the full PFP task force. You know, I was it's the Olympics. The Olympics are going on, and now I was kind of thinking about this,
Mm-hmm.
and the I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Miracle on Ice story, when the '80s U.S. team ended up beating the far superior the Russian team, right? There was
Mm-hmm.
just a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of pros on the Russian team, and then you had just skilled players on the USA team, but they were really more at the amateur level. But the coach, they ended up putting together a team, that could play all ends of the ice, right?
Yeah.
They could play well together, right? They all brought different aspects to the table, and ultimately the United States ended up winning gold against the Russians, and is claimed as the miracle on ice. In some ways, and getting an opportunity to see how everyone works, what everyone brings to the table,
Yeah.
is such a unique perspective, right? And I think with as much effort that had been gone into uh, year one via community council, and then year two with PFP task force,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of crunching through what works, what doesn't, what people resonate with, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
frank conversations, transparent, and here we are. Time's passed, and we pop off with a sneak peek, and sheesh.
Yeah, man, it's been amazing. I mean, but I mean, you nailed it on all those points, man. I think the task force, along also with Johan, right? So he's one of the things I understand it, but at the same time, it's sometimes hard to digest because not all the team members are as active in the Discord, but that does not translate of lack of
Right.
being involved in it, right? So if you look at, like, for example, like our own Johan, like, sure, if he you have to pick your time, right? Either you're in chatting in the Discord or you're working behind the scenes to make stuff happen, right? So when you come to Johan, he is all over the place and doing a lot of the work in the behind, and we are very thankful for him. And he's, but beside that, that's not even like the main thing I would want to highlight, but is the passion that brings into it, because it's a conviction. Is something that a lot of, I think, especially if you're relatively new to the project, I would say last year, and not many would know that basically the task force is picked and is picked from the community, because it's part of like the community council last year, right? So it's brought in from the community. Now, if you go even back to our own like community manager Theo, same thing. He is from the community itself. He's been picked from the community. Johan, same thing. All the moderation team, everybody is from the community. So when you look at like how committed, passionate, and also lean, but at the same time, I would say almost like grassroots kind of startup vibe it is. Everybody's from the community, right? But not just because you're from the community, but because you have a certain skill set that stands out and can be utilized, or and that passion can be turned into something that everybody vibes with, right? So although it's an Adidas brand, the Adidas power, right? But if you look at the some of the people, a lot of the people that are in the project and working on it, offline, online, beyond the payroll, it's the passion that they bring, because nobody's punching in and out at 9 and going out at 5. Like we have had meetings, I would say, on a Sunday 2 a.m. Right, but those are the things we don't share in the chat, right? But at the same time, it's not worth sharing, because what's worth to sharing? Yeah, I just had a meeting at 2 a.m. The community would say like, well, all nice and dandy, but what's the result of it, right? But it's all continuous iterations. We can't be sharing iterations, because a lot of the stuff, just changes as well as time goes by, right? And yeah, I think that the point I was trying to make is everybody is working real hard. Even like if I look at like our own mod team, these guys work around the clock. We are available around the clock, having meetings, jumping between calms what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and trying to land it as possible. But at the same time, because it's from the community, I think even Johan can probably attest to that, and Theo, like they work hard to fight that corporate rigidness and get as much as possible we can for the community, right? And I think one of the things that we're going to probably discuss today is the 20K cap, right? That's something that everybody really loved and enjoyed, and I think Johan, Theo, everybody involved with it has been fighting very hard to get that done. But at the same time, it's not an easy decision to make from basically a business perspective, right? Let's be honest, it's still about some decent numbers we need to have. But for Adidas to go about that and to decide to go with that, it's very, it's I would say like it's how to say it's very commendable, right? Even some of the names that you don't even see almost like in the chat, like if you were like 2 years, I think last year, if you were at the whatchamacallit, at the RiftRadio Amsterdam event, some of the team members like Harold was there. That guy is also freaking amazing behind the scenes, like but again, these are the voices and the guys that are working hard, but you don't see them in the Discord. So I do hope in the future we'll see more of them, but not because they have to, but because they would love to join in and have a chatter as well and banter as well. Otherwise, this is the whole RiftRadio thing is also the thing of just having fun, right? It's just about having fun, enjoying yourself, exchanging thoughts. And yeah, man, and I'm gonna stop talking about that because I think we got. Otherwise, I'll be chatting the whole freaking hour now.
Well, I think one of the things that that you said really kind of hits with me, and that's it's something that Web3 Gatsby had said in in the space we had with him last week, and that was talking about being in a canoe and paddling all in the same direction, right? And I think that's one of the things that we're experiencing right now. What we have been experiencing is this co-creation process where we've been meeting regularly and just seeing these little iterations improve day by day, week by week, and those are the things that you just don't get to share or really cascade, like you said. What we met at 2 a.m. what good does that do? Like, what came from it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see the fruits of that labor, but yeah, man, so happy to be here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we got also some. Who got? Oh, we got Monkey. I mean, he finished his own drop recently. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna give a teaser from what we're planning for next week, but I love the review and yeah, Antoine. We got Antoine as well, and I mean, I could say Aika, but it's a Aika Cherry, but we all know him as Cherry.
yeah, he's that rebranded brother.
He's the rebranded brother.
I'm telling you though, he sharp as a whip. What? Let's get a poll together. That's gonna give everybody PTSD. Anyway. All right. Let's buy.
Let's poke him. Let's shake him up a bit. Shake up some of them a bit.
All right. You know the rules. Come off mute. Let's kick it.
Hi, what's up?
How we doing, brother? Good to have you, man. How you been?
Oh, you're a bit. We can't hear you, Cherry.
Yeah.
I thought Monkey was talking. That's why I was trying to listen. Okay. No, how are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, brother.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah, interesting. Everything you said. I mean, as you said, like obviously we can share. Like it's been an interesting journey as a PFP task force. At the end of the day, I think like what the community holder care and should care about is like the result, like because it doesn't matter to me like how much energy we put if at the end of the day people aren't happy about what they see. So that's, but as you said, that's the most interesting thing is like the community appreciation of the sneak peek, and also some feedbacks, because like you don't need to like it 100%. You can have some question as a community holder, some like feedbacks. Maybe you don't like the nose, maybe you don't like the mouth, and it's good. And it's also like for the community holders that listen to us, it's also the opportunity to have a direct feedback possibility to make right now, because you're seeing the base model. Obviously not every art will have the same nose, the same eyes, the same hair. So that's also what will be very interesting, I think, in the coming weeks and the coming months, is like the closer we go to the PFP reveal, the closer maybe the more maybe sneak peeks we will be able to share, the more feedback the community will be able to do. And that's all about the journey, and that's what we've been doing for the last weeks, the last months. And I think it will be even cooler to have the community part of this journey. So very excited about it. And um and yeah, I mean, what would be, I saw some older who told me some feedbacks. I think there was a few question. Notably, we all know that the main trend today is 2D PFP, like be it anime Azuki, or pudges and animals cartoonish. And the current space is not very used to 3D models. Obviously, the only one that's really had some momentum was Clonix. And so that's also very interesting to see the reception of the overall space, not of the core holders, once we reveal the PFP, and also what happened next. Obviously, that will be the question. And just to finish, it was very interesting to me because I'm talking with some people who are not like following Adidas closer, and those people really have no idea what's going on. I had a few people to which I sent the preview, who told me, "Hey, it's cool. How can I get the whitelist?" And I'm like, "No, but like the collection is out there for 2 years or something." So it's very interesting to see that. I think since Adidas launched ITM Phase One, I knew a lot of new people came in the last years, and we will also have to reach them. And so it's also something which will be interesting to do in the next months. Is not only to launch the PFP, but also to show what Adidas is all about in the space, and what's their plan going forward.
Love it, Cherry. Or Ica. Do you prefer Ica, or do you go by Cherry at all in any format?
No, I mean it's more Ika, but I
Ica.
mean, but you can. I don't really mind. You can, but in English you can say cherry. In French, don't say cherry because it means chéri. It's mean
Mon chéri?
honey. Yeah. Because I met some French people at NFT Paris, and when they were telling me chéri in Paris, I was like, okay, it doesn't really work this way, and and yeah, for the story, Ika is closer to my second name, so it made sense. But yeah, Cherry works in English for the Adidas community, but not absolutely not when I'm in a physical place.
You'll be always be my cherry, my brother. Oh man. All right, so I think let's. I'm gonna poke Anton. Anton, how you doing?
Bonjour, bonjour.
How you doing?
Bonjour.
GM guys, how are you?
How you doing, brother? Good.
Loving it,
Yeah,
man. Loving
yeah,
it.
I'm very well.
Yeah, but
Excited.
are you excited? What's the most excited thing you've been? I think so far. I mean, before I go into an actual question.
I'm really excited about the community's reaction. To be honest with you, man, so much positivity, so many good words, so much excitement from pretty much everyone, and this is always fulfilling to see. This is always amazing to see.
Yeah, beautiful. Right, so I'm kind of curious. Like, so we've seen the PFP, right? The sneak, right? So one question that did, even as a community member, I think, kind of wondering is this like the final kind of angle, like position angle position? Is that the correct term even? Right? Is this,
Position, you mean?
yeah, position. Yeah, position. Yeah.
And I don't think it's the final one. It could be, but it's not locked in the position. So I think there will be some different position testing, and let's see. I don't know. I would be, for instance, curious, to see if some people want to write in the chat or to come and give their opinion, if they would love to have a frontal PFP, frontal facing PFP. I'm more for like a small angle positioning. So yeah, curious about the reaction of the community, but nobody asked about it. So I don't know if they, if for instance from Narling or from Poland who are in the space, did they expect it, or did they expect the final PFP to have this position, or would they like it, or what's their opinion about it?
Yeah. Because I'll be honest, as a front thing, sure, I freaking love it myself, but at the same time, in not in only this space, in any space, I think we've seen many shapes, bits, positions, and whatnot, and I think it's also very, like you said, very positive to hear the community side, like what's their vibe with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're exploring various options, right? And I think one of the things that hopefully community is seeing is that we want to align with what community wants, right? We've seen the transition from left facing, right facing, and then then you had this shift, and now we had some front facing, right? And so there's even like action tilt, right? There's various different things that can be positioned, and I think I think one of the things that I think I love the most is just how flippin' clean the PFP is, right? How detailed it is, and so I think there's certainly an opportunity for community to share their feedback of how they'd want that to see, right? And so. But I don't think anything's come to any sort of a final, exploration. It's final frontier, brother.
Well, I mean, it's I think another question regarding this is also like it looks clean, but also like we see now a skin tone. Will this be? Is this it, or will we having more skin tone? Because I think I think we might be able to share that more, that there will be more different skin tones on this, right? That's gonna be something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I get.
Go, Sherry.
No, I was gonna say, I hope for the people who paid 1 ETH for the iridescent skin would be so yeah. Obviously, I don't know what skin. I'm not even sure if that's because people have been trying to recognize traits like, okay, these eyebrows are like 3 stripes eyebrows, or is those eyes are fire eyes or laser eyes. So people have tried to recognize the traits in the sneak peeks. I don't think like they. I think it's just like the base character, but it's not like the current skin isn't like one particular skin from the chapter 2. So obviously there will be a lot of different ones. I'm not even sure, to be honest. I should ask Johan, but I'm not even sure that this skin will be in the PFP. I guess so, but I don't know. that would be a question for John. Like,
Well, I mean, it's still very a lot of it, but it's not like all the alts have been, developed. Not per se developed, but it's still a lot of it. It's work in progress. But I think it really clearly shows the quality we can expect, the art direction, and I think that's one of the most important parts of it. That part resonates with the community and us and everybody involved with it. You know, I think if we take this as a base, and if we take this as a I would say common, beside maybe from the funky, sexy eyes, the rest of it is quite common. So we can expect that it just goes up in quality in terms of a lot of the traits that we can be expecting, and I think also like there was even some alpha in like the announcement itself, and I was like, I think everybody was so overwhelmed with the sneak preview itself that they kind of overlooked it for now, which is like there will be still some mechanics and activations and traits and you name it, and it's quite clear in the announcement. I was quite very surprised that nobody really even mentioned that, like, what we're gonna get, more mechanics, more like traits, what's
yeah, I
happening.
think
Right.
people just want. Yeah, I think people are just. Um, I mean, people had so many speculation, expectation for
Hmm.
chapter 2, chapter 3. So I think they just wanted to have things moving forward. But what will be interesting is like, obviously we have some very strange traits, like indigo, blue indigo fur
Hmm.
as a skin trait. So I think it's cool to have started with a very clean and very human-like PFP, but I think we have enough traits, and we will have enough traits to create some characters that look like more. I wouldn't call that monster, but a bit more, I mean, for more fantasy-like characters,
Yeah.
and to. I personally really like the clean ones. Usually in a collection, I don't like
Mm.
when a collection has too many like very creative traits. I know some people told me that they find this PFP currently too realistic, but I think that was also the goal to make it very clean,
Yep.
and that's also both what will be very cool and also quite challenging is both to play with like clean traits and also very creative, very fantastic ones, but to have an overall collection that fits well together. That will be, I think, a challenge, and but also something that, if done well, would like please a lot of different tastes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It, yeah, I think the sneak peek, it doesn't show finalized traits, but it represents a standards alt as a placeholder, right? And so I think when you take a look at the sneak peek, you can get a sense of, okay, I like the direction, I see where it's headed, and I think that's what we got in response, right? Which was, after working as hard as we have on it, and everyone involved, right? We're just a small piece of the puzzle, but yeah, I think not finalized traits by any means, but certainly a standard representation of what we can expect to see with continued feedback.
Oh yeah, definitely we need that. Because it's we are trying to yeah, be the voice of the community, but at the same time, make it make sense in various ways. So that continuous feedback, because this is one of the things that as like the moderation team and also like the team in general, we keep saying like drop it in the suggestion box, and at some point people would think, yeah, you're just trying to say this so you don't have to listen to my nagging in the holders, which isn't really the case, because the moment it goes into the suggestion box, we pull it together and put it in a deck and then provide it to the team and say like this has been shared, right? This is not just some way as a method to
Yep.
curb your opinions or whatsoever. It's we
Hmm.
take it seriously, because here's the thing, like there is a lot of micro and bigger gaps between each step of this large organization, right? So someone that might be dealing with legal day to day might never be able to even look into the server to see that specific channel, that specific time shared that opinion, right? So that's where, like, we come in, who's got the constant eyes on the chatter, and spots that and sees, like, right, this is valuable feedback, this is the community feedback, right? And it also provides this very fast and short loop between the highest level of decision making and the lowest level of input with regards to community feedback. Like, this is something that you rarely see, and I think also, like, brings back the whole power of the Web3 part, right? Where you have this short, quick feedback cycle between the decision makers and the people that are providing the feedback, right? It's very quick, very fast. So whenever we say drop it in the suggestion box, please do drop it in the suggestion box.
Well, you know who else has suggestions? Our sponsors, right? They certainly have some opinions, and they blessed us with 2 commercials this space. So if you haven't been here before, it comes with some commercials. We apologize for that, but we're running on a shoestring budget here, keeping the lights on. We take our sponsorship where we can get it, and so Fernando, I don't know if now's the time, brother.
Well, I mean, do we even have a choice? I mean, we have to pay the bills, don't we?
Right, we got it.
All right, well, come back after the little break, people.
Hey, Sprints, ready to turbocharge your day? Hey, Sprint.
We have to cut you off, bro. We have to pay the bills.
Sprints, ready to turbocharge your day and laugh in the face of laziness? Introducing Sprint Boost. Whether you're smashing your morning run, conquering that to-do list, or just need a turbo kick, Sprint Boost is your secret weapon. Packed with all natural ingredients, you'll feel unstoppable from dawn till dusk. And with our Stay Charged guarantee, nothing can slow you down. Visit our website and grab your ticket to an unstoppable day. Sprint Boost. Because slowing down is not an option. Sprint Boost is not responsible for extreme productivity, spontaneous dance parties, or unplanned superhero moments. Use a helmet.
Well, you heard it. Use a helmet for whatever reason you're going to use that Sprint Boost. All right, but Cherry, you were about to say something, brother. Go ahead. Did we kick him out? Are you there still, Cherry?
You may be talking on mute.
Yeah.
How about you, Monkey Antoine?
Hey guys, sorry, just busy driving, so do excuse me if you hear road noise and anything else.
Are you driving to the moon?
If only. The markets does not look very nice, but it's all good. Yeah, but I'm very stoked with the preview we'll be able to share. Everything looks super sick. Big ups to Johan. Obviously, this guy's like juggling all of us, juggling with the core leaders team, and like trying to make everyone happy at the best possible, like high tech quality that we can. And yeah, like just want to give love to him and obviously the rest of the task force. Everyone always gives their honest feedback. There's no not taking anything to heart if they do or don't like anything. It's just more like what's the best optimal solution that we can get for the alts. And yeah, it's been super sick, and just appreciate everyone.
I'm kind of curious, Monkey, because you joined in the task force I think earlier this year, and a lot of the process, I think that the CC before you didn't catch that, but so you kind of got thrown into this position. And what's been your experience, kind of like, since you joined, and you mentioned like the honest feedback and Johan's and like heavy passion for this. Like, what's your been experience, like, also as someone that joined in later, but also as an artist?
It's been sick. I know I do come more from a 2D realm more than the 3D stuff that we're doing, but the way I'm able to kind of translate some ideas and stuff through sketches and all that has been sweet. Everyone's, again, like, we're all here to kind of give the best input. It's not anything malicious or anything selfish-wise. So, I think the people so I wasn't part of the council before, so there's a lot more people prior to that. But the guys that I'm dealing with now, part of the task force, every single one, super genuine, good-hearted human being that's just trying to give the best for the So my experience has been super great.
Oh man, I was very happy to hear that, man.
Anyone would be lucky to be part of something like this.
I think one of the things that you said there, just respect across the board and opinions being provided to just get it done is very on point. I think at the end of the day, we all have different ideas, different perspectives. When one person from community says something, depending upon your life experiences, you may take that feedback in one way and another person may take it another, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we have a nice diverse group of backgrounds and experiences that allow us to take community feedback and share it transparently. And I think, the real blessing is the team is able to weed through that passion, that feedback, and go, okay, I think what you're saying is this. How about we try implementing this, right? And I think in order to get that down to a science that works well, you got to work through it a little bit. When being part of the community council in 23, it just we had a lot of people voicing opinions, and that can become a challenge. But a lot of opinions were spot on and valid, and all which brought us to where we are here today, right? Yeah. And so I think, the sneak peek of what it looks like, it's not necessarily just a testament of the people that are the task force that are here today, mm-hmm. or the Adidas team, but the people that have been here from the beginning, right? It's not just this final wave of work that has brought us to where we are. You couldn't be here if it wasn't from the beginning, right? So it's all of it. And so, yeah, well said, Monkey.
I think one of the things that also strikes me, if I go back to the iterations, the meetings, and the feedback loop is, we get worried when there is everybody likes it. That's the moment we start getting worried. Are we getting into this echo chamber? And thankfully that's never happened, right, so far. And every time there's been this healthy rubbing of opinions until we find this thing that we all agree on, but it's never been from the get-go, yeah, everybody agrees on this, because and if that happened, we would be taking one step back and saying all right, do we really agree on this, or is this now becoming an echo chamber? And that's something, yeah, I think we have been very, very careful with, and I think we've been handling it very well. And also, again, under with the help of Johan, also I would say preserving that little space that it doesn't turn into this echo chamber. So he feeds the right amount of the feedback to push these iterations. But again, it comes back to everyone that is in these spots is because of certain experience and not just in the community, but also outside of this community. So Leo Monkeymoto, he's an artist. Like Antoine, he's an artist himself. Cherry is a professional nagger. Now that takes talent.
It does. There's always one rough cherry in the bunch, right?
No, but you need that.
A bag of cherries.
Yeah.
And one of them is going to be so tart you're going to want to spit it out.
But we need it. Yeah, you need it, man. You
100%.
Need it. You need it. So, and I think this is a very unique team altogether. And again, everybody's part of the community, and all these feedback. Even like if I go to back to the RiftRadio in London, I'm seeing Nailing is also joining us. Even at that moment, I would take those opportunities just to get feedback from the community, and then slide it back into the team afterwards. And those are very, very important. Or even at events. Go.
You've been talking about community feedback, but also that. I know that's something that pissed you off, some of you. But I really like to do that when I see some community that say something somewhere, either in my private DM or in suggestion chat, and then use that as a argument of authority to defend my position when I actually think that's what the community think. But like um, it's always like as you said, like even if we're a community member, it's very hard to be sure that the community will like, and that we're not like in an echo chamber,
Yeah.
and like even like hours and days before the sneak peeks we were discussing like, and nobody was, I mean, we were expecting more negative comments about the sneak peeks than what actually happened, because you're never sure, and after such a long time of expectation, people expectation increase. So we always have the we always try to think what the community, what the other
Yeah.
elders think, and it's very sometimes very hard, because some people don't really, people are very good at criticizing, and at not only criticizing but just trashing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the crypto space. But when it comes to making like concrete proposition, and I myself, I'm very good at telling Johan this is shit, and I'm not so much uh, good at like doing something on Photoshop to say maybe we should do this way. I just try to express my feedback the best way I can. But uh, and uh, and that we've been trying to do, which is not an easy task, as you said. And like Antoine has been doing an amazing job at working, because as you said, he's an artist, so he has some capabilities on like providing proposition. And sometimes we have an idea of what we want, but uh, it's one thing to say we want to go this direction, but it's when you come to the subtle details, this mouse is, this lips is a bit too big, this eyes should be a bit more wide open. um, you need like to have people who can translate this wording and ideas into visuals. That's what Antoine has been doing from the task force, PFP task force side, obviously Johan too. And as you said, yeah, it's very a teamwork at the end of the day. Obviously, I think the whole merit should, I think if the PFP sucks and people are disappointed, the whole blame should be put on Johan. But if the whole PFP is a success, I think the whole success should also be like Johan's one. I'm not trying to hide myself behind him, but at the end of the day, he's leading it, and so all the compliments regarding these sneak peeks should go to him.
Yep.
Then, like the PFP is like 20K PFP collection with so many different traits is another even bigger challenges. But I'm very happy about where we are at. And again, just to finish, I've been saying that even to some people who give me feedbacks in private, but you should definitely write as many ideas and critics and feedbacks as possible in the chat, in Discord, in private to Joan, because otherwise you can complain at the end of the journey if you're not happy about the reveal, if you didn't try to put your ideas into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, agree
Yeah,
to
well
that.
said. Yeah, no, I think that's big, and I think you can't incorporate all ideas, but I think hopefully community gets a sense that their voices are heard, right? We've got like a diverse group, like I had said prior, but we're a small piece of that puzzle, right? The team's available as well, and I think kudos out to the GOAT Johan, Master Chef. He does such a great job of balancing these little increments of work in progress, and tying it together from community, from task force, from mods, and you name it, right? And so I think you nailed it. You nailed it. If you see something that you absolutely love, let us know, because I think you need to know what you're doing right in order to be successful, as well as the opportunities of growth in order to improve.
I think also, Blinko, and on that note, maybe it's also time to maybe see if anyone from the community that or listeners are have their own input at the moment. Like, what do if they want to share, like, I like this bit or I hated this bit, whatever that may be. Like, if you feel like it, put your hands up and come on up and
throw your hands up.
Put your hands up in the air.
I may have missed one from earlier, so hopefully they can come back in the event that maybe they got frustrated their hand was up too long. But
but that's it. And also, like, I think keep also our eyes on the clock, because I think in about 10 minutes that whole whatchamacallit.
Oh yeah.
The
pull-out.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
we got that thing again, don't we?
Yes, every time you tune in, we got a pull-up to give you. I've like, not every time we've done a raffle, but it's more not it's more of a time thing, and not because I'm like a cheapskate. But I have to make time for these things, and this is all like in between, juggling between the task force, the moderation, behind the scene talks, and also the whole giving away and organizing, even like the POAP, like getting the POAPs up and running takes also a chunk of my time. But it's so fun. So I'm more having a hard time to switching off than having like mustering. I have to do this. I'm more like, oh shit, I have to do this as well. All right. Yeah. So in about 10 minutes. But if anybody has any questions or like remarks,
I did invite Kinderful up on stage. They had their hand up like way early in the beginning, but I wanted to make sure we got through the task force. So you got your ears on, go ahead and accept my invite to speak. We definitely want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Other than that, anybody else, you're welcome to come up on stage as well. The space is yours, and in the event that you have feedback to share after, you can always share in Discord too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'll invite you one more time, my friend. Knuckle dragging around the world. Nice to hit over. There we go. Friend, how are you?
Yeah, good, guys.
Rocking the dude.
Man.
Clean, brother.
Yeah.
I've been a doodle holder for some time, so I've been a part of communities that, the sentiment wasn't high at all times, but we get through it, truthfully, I joined right after like the Floyd and Get Out, like literally a week after. So when I'm telling you that I've been through it with community, I really mean it. Like, holy smoke! And I feel like I joined alts right around the same time. Well, not that time, but I feel like when they're like the sentiment was low, I was like, it looks like they're still going, so let me get in. So I got picked up a few back then. So yeah, it's awesome to see. And I came up. I have a weird question, but definitely before I say anything, of course, congratulations on the announcement. I think it was for the team, it felt like they wanted to release something and they couldn't, and so I was very happy to see once it happened. So congrats. Absolutely, congratulations. So my question for anyone here was simply, do you believe because you had this amount of time to like build out, it gave you the opportunity to see what other projects were doing and how you didn't want to manage based on the after effects of those projects? Was there like, oh man, maybe we should kind of move away from that now that we see how it played out for other projects? Was that any of that type of conversation happening? Because I feel like a lot of the times in the space, people want something, they don't understand the ramifications, and then once we see it play out with another project, it gives people the opportunity. So I was just curious if that was something that may have happened for alts. But yeah, I'm excited, dude.
I think from feedback that I share, I try to provide feedback that will remove contention, right? And so whether it be a trait or a look or what have you, I think, I was a corporate guy that threw in the towel and left all that to go all in on Web3, and I ditched my Facebook and all the socials because there's just so much out there that I just don't resonate with, right? And so when I join these communities, right, it's because I want to enjoy myself, I want to vibe, I want to learn, I want to create, I want to build, right? And so I think when I make suggestions to team, I'm coming from a mindset of what will be enjoyable, what will people like, right? And so I think my lens comes from that perspective. Now I think everybody looks at it differently, and I think that's why it hits so well. But for me, I'll try to remove any sort of idea that I think will alienate someone or make someone feel left behind. It should be inclusive for all. I think that's how I take it, but curious what others think.
Yeah, I think you had a very interesting question. I think we'll see and know that Web3 space is evolving very quickly. And so, what's the best, the most hyped project of today can be like nobody could care about it tomorrow, and like we saw that with so many projects. But I think like it's both a good thing and a bad thing. Is like with when you're a project from a Web2 brand who was like which is like the old which is here for decades. They take their time to do the right moves. They're not in a hurry like some other projects, and so they're also more cautious about what they're doing. I think they also have a long time horizon that we may not have in mind. Like why as a Web2 brand we're building this Web3 department. Why are we doing this PFP? It's not just like to sell toys or to launch a game tomorrow and then shut down the department. It's like we see that in 10 years or in 20 years there is some opportunities for us as a brand. So I don't think Adidas is doing the same or could do the same mistake as other Web3 native brands, because it's not the same. They're not playing the same thing, the same games, like between a project which is building an IP and a brand which already have a strong IP, which is Adidas, and is just trying to extend it to Web3. But maybe they and I'm only talking for myself, right? Not for the team, or we're not Adidas officials, but maybe they've been able to learn from other Web2 brands. There was like Lacoste, there was Nike with Artifacts, there was Mercedes. There was quite a lot of Web2 brands who tried some different stuffs. Some did some mistakes, I would say, and I think the decision to cut the supply from 30K to 20K was this reflection that it's better, like the confidence and the trust of the community is something like if you lose it totally, it's very, very hard to come back from it. And Adidas is today not in a very good position toward its community because people have been waiting for so long for the PFP. People have big expectation. So cutting the supply is a first big move to show that they care about their holders, that they're not trying to. We have no information about what was going to be the decision towards a 10K additional supply, but they showed that there is no way we will sell any more NFTs, alt NFTs, before the reveal or whatever. So I think that may be something that they learned from the space. Like you need to have the confidence of your holders, but besides that, I think they're just playing another game than any other Web3 native brand. So the decision, the strategy are quite different.
Yeah, man. I mean, quite nailed it with that one. The vision and the strategy is very different. So, coming back to the original question, like how it impacts, like watching others move in the space, how it impacts our decision making. I think every time we see someone make a move, whether it's a new move, old move, same move, whatever, we all look at it with a different lens. Like Blinko said, it's someone is more bullish regarding replicating that method with our own source, and someone else would say like, no, that's just very shilly, or very, it feels like, very cheap cash grabby, is something we have always tried to stay away from, because that's again part of never even close to the Adidas strategy again, right? Because they think about in years time, not in, all right, how can I pump it up for the next quarter so I can get the royalties, so I can pay the Discord Nitro, for example, right? The strategy and the vision is very different, so the decision making is also different. So, but when these suggestions come on the table, everybody has their own lens on it, right? So someone like with an artist view would look at it and say like, this is terrible. We cannot put the name Adidas under any circumstances, right? Or even like association with like XYZ person that used to be maybe great, but now it's terrible because they've been now associated with a rug pull or known scammer. Like, you don't want to get associated with that. So because by extension, your community is getting attached to it, because again, this is beyond just a shoe. Like, you have this digital identity, and if you attach it to a known scammer, for example, you're basically white stamping that bit and saying like, we're okay with this, which we are not. So that's why we have to have these different voices, and not because the artist doesn't care, but it's because their lens is very different than someone that has a more business mindset. And then you got also the one, everybody might be on board, but then the legal guy would come and say like, yeah, that ain't gonna work, right? So then it's back to back to the drawing board. So these are very and that's why it might take a bit of time. Even like you said, like the 20K cherry, right? That's something quite big. Like 10,000, sure, it's 10,000 on top of 20K collection, but 10,000 used to be the whole collection for a lot of startups, right? So that would be bringing in millions of revenue to put back into the project and community, and that's a very difficult decision that's been made by Adidas, which again was because they listen to the community. But again, it's not a given, right? It's the same thing that the fact that they pivoted from last year with the PFP, and we are kind of like delayed the whole thing for quite a long time because of it, because it didn't align with the vision and the values of Adidas. And the feedback was right, we cannot continue with this. We need to start to not scrap at everything, but we need to start from an earlier point where it didn't go wrong, and from there we're going to build it again. And that again, it's a very tough business decision, right? You're not talking about like scraps. Again, this is not some three kids with no hate towards the startup people that start in their own basement, grassrooting with 4 people and 5 PCs, but this is not that kind of enterprise, right? So decision making and rolling out will cost you a lot of money before you even can say, right, well, we won't be doing this anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big decision. But I think I've talked over the border, Blenko, with regards to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, let's make sure we get people to go out and get that POAP so they can be part of the old process here. So for participating and in being here today, the secret phrase in order to collect the POAP in the POAP app is going to be ALTS, ALTS, or maybe one of your favorite PFP collections. And then while you're doing that, I did see that the wizard dude did throw his hand up for another question. And so while you're doing that, dude, what'd you think of the answer? Did you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, I had a follow-up. No, I mean, the answers were great. Yeah. I guess this is a general question for all of you up here. Do you feel that your expectations now, like what you intend to ultimately be holding the NFT for, has changed drastically from, back 2021, people were like, oh, I'm gonna buy a NFT and this company's gonna use it and I'm gonna become a millionaire. And I feel like the space has changed quite significantly, like extremely significantly actually. And so, would you say that for you all, when you think of alts now that things are progressing, what do you feel like would be your overall expectations so far as like why you'd be holding? I can kind of like hit myself in the shin first if you guys want, so that you can be like, oh, maybe, because I feel like we all need a sacrificial lamb, so I could be the sacrifice because I'm the most ignorant of here. I could just throw it out there. So just,
Go for
but
it,
if you
brother.
guys want
Go
to
for
answer,
it.
go.
I already got something, but you go ahead and kick it, man.
Yeah, mine is easy. I don't think that any of my NFTs will ever be used in a commercial way. I don't think there's ever going to be a time that I have this Adidas NFT and they're going to come and offer me millions. I don't think any of that at all. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. What I do think will happen is that I'll have access to products in the foreseeable future through collaborations, and I'll be like first in line to get it. And then I would be, holding this would give me the opportunity to be first in line for whatever the future holds in Web3 and Adidas. That's all it is. So whatever, maybe I'm the consumer. I'm on the consumer mindset, but that's what it feels like for me. And then being able to represent that with the fact that I hold it's kind of like, having that watch or having anything that's a collectible, like having it on you and being able to represent it in a digital way is how I feel the future is for the Adidas all. And that's the top of scale expectation for me. So that's all I got.
Well, I can share this a little peek behind the Blinko curtain. You know, beginning of this year, I quit a 200K a year job to go all in on Web3. I'm a co-host of RiftRadio now, and I'm going all in making my alt me, right? And I believe in community. I believe in adding value. I believe in vibing. I believe in having fun. And I think there's a lot of future tech here that is just absolutely incredible, right? I was running managed services as a practice director for a $15 billion company, setting out support solutions for Fortune 2000 accounts. And for me, IP ownership, it's one thing for a project to go ahead and create, IP for you to use. And that company, whichever project you're aligned to, they'll grow and they'll extend its capabilities as well, right? But you as the holder of that token, of that IP, of that character, you have the power in order to build and grow on it yourself, right? And I think I absolutely, since COVID, man, I've been hanging out with so many cool people. I've been learning so many amazing things, and what am I doing? I'm an alien, brother.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just wanted to I think it's interesting what you ask. I think obviously, when Adidas launched their NFT, the name of the collection was into the metaverse. For a reason, it's like metaverse was this big wording, and we also have this. I think a lot of the space was into 3D environment, 3D experiences, 3D worlds, digital fashion also eventually. All those segments of the market don't have the favor of the space today. Today it's more about either meme coins or native IP, Web3 IP, Pudgy Azuki, but it's very different than what the space was when Adidas came into the space, when a lot of Web2 brand came into the space. And I think I personally still believe in this evolution of the internet, and like what we used to refer to as metaverse, but it's just for me like the intersection of augmented reality, blockchain, AI, etc. And I think And I think there is this aspect which is a short-term utility from Alts by Adidas, which is reduction discounts, eventually access to some ERL events. But on the mid-term, long-term, I think first of all, I don't know if you know, but you will have you should have, from what I know. I don't know more than what the average holders know, but you will have the commercial IPs or some commercial IPs on your PFP. So I don't think anybody will pay you to showcase your NFT on an Adidas advertisement, but you could monetize it eventually. We need to know the exact rights that we will have as holders, but I believe you will be able to monetize it if you're able to build a brand around your visual, you know. And I think that's something we've seen with Pudgy Penguins holders, with some Azuki holders, and I think this will keep going on. And I think that you know, uh, right now the only celebrities going to Web3 are just coming to Shila meme coins. But I think that in e-gamings, you know, at some point there will be like world competition with gamers using Adidas, sponsored by Adidas or Nike, using an Adidas art in a game, or and using it as their digital identity, you know. And so people who are into this gamer or this celebrity will want to be part of this of this ecosystem. There's something which is interesting about this. I do really believe in digital fashion, but again, not in the short term, but in the longer term, and I think it will come back at some point in a very strong way. And also, I think that we've seen that it's a bit more complicated, but the way brands used to make marketing, like big marketing, the same kind of marketing strategy for everybody, it doesn't work so much now. It's more and more about micro influencers, small influencers, micro communities, and decentralization. And so this this top-down approach of a brand to say that's what I'm doing and now buy my product, I think it will change with time, and people want to be part of something in a more meaningful way. And that's why an NFT collection is, at the end of the day, is to offer a inner premium circle into something, either a community or a brand or experiences. And I think that's just the way the whole society is evolving, and NFT allows this kind of things, like to empower micro influencers, because you are a new upcoming artist or creator and you're using your Arts by Adidas NFT to promote yourself. You know, this could be something interesting, and at the same time it allows you to reach out easier to Adidas, because we've seen with Monkeymoto, for instance, which is an artist, and because he was part of the community, he's been able to create activation with Adidas. So all those different things are still in play, but some things will take more time than others. And yeah, I think just I did my expectation didn't change, I would say, but I'm just more conscious. I'm just like, I know it will take way more time than what I expected, I
Yeah.
would say.
But some
But
things some things do run out, like our POAP claim. So before you continue, Aika,
I'm finished. I'm finished.
so in the, you got about like 3 minutes if you want to claim the POAP. What was the secret code again for Blinko?
It is alts.
Uh,
ALTS. Alts.
yeah, so just install the POAP app if you don't have it, and then you can put in the secret word. Then you should be able to claim the POAP for today. I think a friend got his hands up again.
Yeah. Yeah, wizard dude. Go for it, brother. Got some bangers already.
Oh man, yeah. I just wanted to thank you guys. I can see where we see things differently, but I do definitely appreciate you sharing. I do think we have a different perspective, but that's the cool thing about Web3. We don't always
Yeah.
have to agree. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think when I hear projects, the problem with 2021 is NFTs were all NFTs, but there is a big difference between Pudgies was brought up. So like Pudgies is more of a toy brand and Doodles is a lifestyle brand. And then when you start figuring out what those two projects are doing and why they do it so differently, I think expectations change. At least for me, I'm speaking. Actually, this is speaking specifically for myself, and I think that's why I see this as a lifestyle brand, because it's Adidas. They're not a toy brand, and so I can't see it being anything like Pudgies, because they're two different brands. But
Well,
I guess we're all gonna enjoy the ride either way. It seems so. I'm excited to see what happens. I do hold that the way IP is, like, for example, if these characters are going to have meaningful anything, then they need to be in meaningful places and they can't just be on clothes. Like, even if it is an Adidas shirt, people would buy it more for the Adidas and still not, they think it would be a design and not an actual character in a bigger story. And so hopefully in the near future, we get to see how that idea is explored, and that's what I'm excited about.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
But like I
so
said,
what if
we might be all wrong, dude.
so
You
but
know,
if, so
we
what?
can all get.
So sorry, man. So what if we would like reverse this question? How would it be meaningful in your eyes? Because you just said like
easy, dude.
you just said
I
pudgy is
got
pudgy,
you.
right? So what would be your vision in that sense?
Yeah, that's super cake, and thank you. So first, of course, we get the reveal. So then we get to an idea of what these characters look like, and then meaningful would simply be having this character interact with the real world, where Adidas meets culture, and having the character involved in some kind of way. Not art. It doesn't have to mean like we're gonna get paid for it, but the character and the universe that the character lives in to be involved some kind of way. So let's say like Adidas has something with Red Bull at a DJ, like, you know, like what DMC or some big ass DJ event, right? Like that's a microcosm in a little world, but that's where people that are fans of Adidas go to. Like if you go there, there's gonna be a high chance. If you go to a DJ event, a DJ competition, there's a high chance people are gonna be wearing some Adidas. Very high chance. You know, when you think Adidas, you think like streetwear. Like, okay, so tracksuit. Like back in the days, it used to be like breakdancing competitions. Like, I'd like to see the character be somewhere there, and maybe we get some kind of special access to these events.
All right,
That doesn't mean
so.
like,
Let's say if I'm gonna play with that thought, like let's say you got next Into the Spider-Verse animation, and you see one of the cameos or players or animation characters be one of the alts that Adidas is holding, or one of the alts that is from the community. Would that be something you would recognize as, you know, that's meaningful?
Well, that'd be so unrealistic, right? Like I think that would be far unrealistic. To begin with, then Adidas isn't involved in that ecosystem in any way. And then secondly, the character wouldn't be in any significant mainstay.
Well,
like,
I mean,
it
wouldn't be that far-fetched, because it's another form of product placement, because it used to be shoes, but now it's a character with the shoes, and the character is also an Adidas alt, so it wouldn't be that far-fetched. I'm not saying it's going to be happening, but I'm just playing with that thought process. Would that be something that you would consider meaningful?
No, I don't think it'd be meaningful. Truthfully, I think it would stray away from a lot of what. I mean, our interpretation, what we were told in 2021, I think it's very different from how we interact with characters in a meaningful way. Like, there's brands that we see all the time that we don't know damn near anything about. And then there's IP, quote unquote IP, that we don't know how in the world it got to us, but it definitely got to us. Like, if I show you a Snoopy little toy, like 99% of the people in this alt community space could say that's Snoopy.
Yeah.
But if I told you, hey, when did you know you were a fan of Snoopy, or what made you know the name of that character? 99% of us may not know that answer, but it's always lived with us. And that idea we've had those characters. Same things happen with Pokemon, same things happen with Hello Kitty, and there's many IPs that have lived like that. But in order for that to happen, these characters have to feel like they've always been a part of our culture, and that you can't fake that, and you can't force it.
No,
And that's where I think.
But it's
our
also a chicken
disagreement-
egg. It's also a chicken and egg story, right? So let's say if you take about like Coca-Cola as a brand and compare it to all these other brands that came and faded away throughout the years, is the reiteration of the brand itself within your field of view, subconsciously and consciously, right? So you said like Snoopy, but if Snoopy didn't have that approach to it and the branding to it, or even Hello Kitty, then it would just fade away within one generation. Like we had the other talk the other day about, like, you know, Run DMC and Wu-Tang Clan, and one of the members asked like, who the heck is Wu-Tang Clan? Like, because they stopped being Wu-Tang Clan, or they stopped being Run DMC, so the new generation is like, who the heck are these people? So being a character, or being of a character of relevance, is just one step of is just the hardest, is one of the hardest part, but staying relevant, I would say, is even more harder. Like, so Adidas didn't become Adidas just overnight either, right? It took them about 60, 70 years, right? If we talk about, yeah, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say the other thing that's really kind of interesting is that, you know, we're talking about egos here, right? Like, you know, we have alts as a collective project as a whole, but, you know, when they go their separate ways via fractions as drifts or decos or sprints or hoops or thrills, right? Like, when is Adidas really ever put themselves in a position to do anything with gaming, right? Like, you know, now we're starting to see some bits and pieces in various domains, but I mean, I think, you know, each of these egos, you know, they could step into various parts of the world in some very interesting explorative manner.
So I think I think you're right, though, that it is at this moment and stage, it's not meaningful at all, right? If you just put it out, it wouldn't mean much. It wouldn't be a Snoopy, right? Like, totally agree with that. So I do think it would take time, and part of that is to nail it at launch. Like, it has to resonate with people visually first before it can become anything at all long term, right? But at the start, sure, it wouldn't be much. So I agree definitely with that part. It would just take time, but part of that means at review, like the same with doodles. Like, it's very playful. I love the doodle art style itself, right? It's recognizable, but at the same time, if I show I don't know, to my grandma, it said like, who is this, right? So it still needs time to penetrate to the masses, to be that level of recognition, and that just takes time, right? So I agree with that part, definitely.
So, and I think you guys both bring very valid points. The only point I'd like to make, like, very distinct, is that there is very distinctly different avenues for different product. And so my understanding of alts is that it's a lifestyle brand. That's how I understand it. If I'm wrong, then absolutely, then that means my perception of it is going to be completely different. If alts were a toy brand similar to like Pudgy, then I would expect to, like, the conversation would be completely different. I'd be asking like, well, what kind of toys are going to be released? What is this going to be? How is this going to be meaningful? How can we get to Target? But for a lifestyle brand, it's a completely different, like, conversation.
Yeah.
But maybe, listen, maybe they find out a different way. It's just they're two different things. Yeah. And I think because early on we used to just say, well, they did it, why don't we do it? I just didn't have a better understanding of what these things are. But now we do. So like Doodles is a lifestyle brand. If Doodles tomorrow launched a t-shirt at Walmart, I would sell the Doodle, because I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, that's not how we get to meaningful places, so that you have those lasting, you know, that lasting feeling of like, oh man, I want to go buy that shirt. It would just be like, oh, I think I saw that at Walmart, or I saw that at my local whatever store. And so that's what you want to avoid if you want it to feel meaningful. But I think having these open conversations, I do appreciate you guys hearing me out. But more so, I just do want to say I am excited to see what happens. And maybe we all get to learn along the way. Maybe some of I could be wrong, although 100%, and you guys are right, or we all are right in our own little way, and we all get to experience the project a little bit differently. So yeah, I'm just excited for the announcement, and I'm excited to see what happens.
I do have to say though, you're not wrong. Is whatever you're perceiving it's correct. But if there's a disconnect between whatever the brand is signaling out to the world, and it's not being receptive, but your end, that is on the brand its own, right? Because you're not wrong in your perception. Like if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck, right? So whatever you're perceiving, man, that is what is the reality is. It doesn't matter whatever the brand intention was. The perception on your end and my end as a consumer and a community member, that is the reality. It doesn't matter what the brand thought to communicate or thinks to be. The reality is whatever we perceive it. And if there is a disconnect in that, that's then on the brand to fix that stuff. That's the harsh reality. That is what it is.
Oh, perception is reality. It's like one of my favorite and one of the things I hate saying at the same time.
well, that's quite a bold statement, talking like an alien sitting somewhere. But bro, I mean, we've been quite over time now. Like normally we cut off at 1 hour.
And if we don't hit this next sponsor, like we're gonna be like, we're up the creek, brother.
Yeah.
So maybe we play that on our way out so that we can keep monkey up our back end.
We'll do that, and then we have to slowly close shop for today then, and then but we'll be back, as they say, right? All right, see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Hey there, thrill seekers and adrenaline junkies. Are you tired of the same old boring commute? Well, buckle up, because it's time to unleash the beast with Rift Rides. From sleek sports cars to monster trucks that'll make you feel like the king of the road. We've got it all. And with our getaway guarantee, you'll always outrun the competition. So why wait? Visit Rift Rides today, where the only limit is your imagination. Rift Rides. Drive like a boss. Disclaimer. Rift Rides is not responsible for any vehicular mayhem, property damage, or encounters with law.
All right, now that was the last sponsor for today, I think, and any an encounter with law enforcement is on you. You heard the disclaimer.
Yeah. No,
But
we gotta keep those disclaimers. Thankfully, we got a fairly moderate legal department here. So.
Right, man. It's been a wonderful episode. Any final words, my friend, before we close off today?
Well, we have another space coming up on Friday. That one will be dedicated to PFP Task Force Monkey Moto and his project. And just really stoked to have everybody here today. Remember, as alts holders, we definitely want to hear your feedback, thoughts, and everything, right? So make sure you let it known what you want to see, what you don't, and the task force and team will do everything they can in order to make it hot for you. Be well.
Yeah, man. Take care, everybody. Have a nice weekend. The rest of the weekend, anyways.
Enjoy your Sunday.
Yeah, enjoy your Sunday. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and also for the task force. Take care. Where's the button? Oh, here's the button.